Hey, Daily Dosers, Chris here. I hope you're off to a great Monday already. Man, we've got a good week planned for you. We've got a great week planned for you. Here's what we're doing. We're going to look at this thing called fruits of the Spirit. Now, if you're a long-term Christian, you've heard of this. These are the things we're supposed to have in our life. If we're Christian, the behaviors we're supposed to change to get better at if we're a Christian. And I want to debunk that myth right off the bat. Before we get into a week of telling you what our new character looks like, what our new behavior, what our new mindset is, let me right off the bat, this is a passion of mine. This is a button of mine. Thank you, Trent Jenkins, our online pastor, for letting me kick this one off because let me tell you, the title gives it away. It's fruits of the Spirit. It's fruits of the Spirit. It's not fruits of Michael. It's not fruits of Tim. It's not fruits of George. It's not fruits of Michelle. It's not fruits of Carol. It's fruits of the Spirit. In other words, what? This is what the Spirit does in and through our lives. This isn't what you and I are supposed to produce. You and I don't stand there and go, I gotta produce a fruit of kindness. I gotta produce of love. Because here's what fruits of the Spirit. It comes from Galatians. It comes from chapter 5. And if we're not careful, it reads like this. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. And those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the sinful nature with its passions and its desires. And since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking and envying one another. Christian, you got a choice to make. You got sin in your life and you're going to reap of sin, or you can produce the fruits of the Spirit in your life. And you don't go with sin. You need to be a person that produces love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And yet we've taken it already out of context. Before we jump into this week, man, can I take a little bit of burden off of you? Can I take a little bit of guilt and extra conviction off of you that doesn't come from the Spirit, but comes from religion? Can we back all the way up? And can we jump back in verse 16, long before we get to verse 22? Where Paul says, so I say, live by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of your sin nature. You see, the sin nature desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit desires what is contrary to your sin nature. They're going to be in conflict with each other so that you do not do what you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under this law. You know the acts of your sinful nature. They're obvious. Your sexual immorality, your impurity, your debauchery, your idolatry, your witchcraft, your hatred, your discord, your jealousy, your fits of rage, your selfish ambition, your dissension. All this, he goes, I warn you about. See, what Paul does from the very beginning is, look, you got a choice to live out of two things. You can live out of the desires of your heart, your flesh, yourself, your sin nature, and you're going to choose what Chris wants, what Chris desires. You're going to choose what makes Chris happy, what's best for Chris. Or you can live by the Spirit and not gratify those desires, because the Spirit's going to work contrary to that. And then he turns the page and goes, you know what sin produces in your life? Now let me show you, verse 22, what the Spirit produces in your life. The fruit of the Spirit, the fruit of your sin nature, is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. And those who belong to Christ have crucified that sin nature with its passions and its desires, because we live by the Spirit. So just stay in step with the Spirit. Let's not become conceited, provoking and envying each other. Did you get that? See, I was taught my entire life, let's do a week on the fruit of the Spirit, and we're going to break it down for you. Chris, here's how you have to become more joyful. You have to become more loving. You have to become more peaceful. You have to become more patient. You need to work on these things. Which of these are the weakest? Those are the things I need you to work on this week. And I think Paul's in heaven going, did you not even read the text? No, you don't produce this. It's fruit of the Spirit. May we go back to the upper room where Jesus goes, here's Christianity. I'm the vine, you're the branch. In obedience, stay in step with me. You just remain. And one more thing, remain in me, and you will bear fruit. And apart from me, you can do, say it in your car, nothing. Don't you take this week and think you have to produce the fruits of the Spirit when they're not your fruit, they're His. We walk in step. It's just a daily choice. Do I want to live by Christ's desires or the desires of the Spirit? And when I walk in the Spirit, He produces the fruit. Let's have a great week now, remaining in Him.